Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and for this video I'm going to go through all the Blu-rays and DVDs that I picked up in the month of August. So first up, from Blue Underground, we have 99 Women, which is one of these kind of women in prison exploitation kind of subgenre films, and I'm not a huge fan of these. They're usually pretty sleazy, but I kind of find them quite dull at the same time. But I have to say I did rather enjoy 99 Women. In fact, it's probably the best example of this kind of subgenre that I've seen personally. The characters in this are pretty good. It's got a decent story that kind of moves it along, which is rare for these kind of films. It turns into a bit of a jungle adventure towards the end as well, which was quite exciting. And yeah, directed by Jess Franco, and I get the feeling it's one that he had a bit more excitement about. I don't know, he seems to put a bit more effort into this one than some of his other movies, so pretty decent effort from him as well. So yeah, whilst I don't particularly like this subgenre all that much, 99 Women was a pretty decent example of it. So yeah, it's good to finally see this and actually enjoy it. So that's the first one. Next up from IFC, we have Almost Human. And this was a really good film. I was really impressed with this. This is like an alien abduction type horror film. This guy, he sees his friend abducted and beamed up by aliens, and the friend comes back a couple of years later, but he's evidently not quite right. There's something weird about him, and he goes around killing people, and you're not quite sure what he actually wants. But yeah, he goes around killing everyone in this town. And it's pretty creepy stuff. It's really effective, and it's surprisingly violent and gory in a lot of places. It really delivers on a number of different levels. And this film was kind of dressed up as being like a bit of a throwback to 70s and 80s type horror movies. So, you know, featuring like gooey effects and things like that. And it really does deliver. It has some great practical effects. And like I say, surprisingly violent and gory in places. So really good effort for more modern kind of horror film. And there were bits of it that felt quite sort of John Carpenter-y and David Cronenberg-y. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I would definitely recommend Almost Human. Okay, next up from Warner Brothers, we have the Bermuda Depth, which I think is a bit like a sort of a monster movie adventure film. Never seen this, just sort of picked this up quite randomly whilst I was buying a number of things online. And it looks pretty fun. Like I say, it looks like a bit of an adventure film, but it's got like a giant turtle monster and I think a few supernatural elements as well. So looking forward to checking this one out at some point. That's the Bermuda Depth. Okay, next up I bought like a compilation multi-pack kind of thing called Best of the Worst. And this has got on it Manos, The Hands of Fate, Trek of the Moon Beast, The Beast of Yucca Flats, Egar, The Ape Man, The Amazing Transparent Man, The Atomic Brain, Dementia 13, Unknown World, The Terror, Messer of Lost Women, and The Incredible Petrified World. So some films that I've already seen, some that I want to see, and a couple that I'm not interested in, if I'm honest. But I really wanted to get this for Trek of the Moon Beast. I've never seen that, and I've always wanted to see it. So finally got around to seeing that. Not a particular good film. It's a really cheesy monster movie. You don't see the monster all that much, but when you do it, it really made me smile. So Mystery Science Theatre as well also do their episode of Trek of the Moon Beast, which I watched afterwards, and that's one of the funniest things I've seen Mystery Science Theatre do. So whilst I wouldn't recommend Trek of the Moon Beast, I highly recommend checking out Mystery Science Theatre's version of Trek of the Moon Beast. It's hilarious. So yeah, pretty interesting compilation there. I'm sure there's a few others that I'll check out at some point. Right, next up from Code Red, we have Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker. Finally got around to getting this movie. This is not an easy film to get, and I think Code Red have recently re-released it, so when they did that I ordered it immediately, and really nice release. It comes with a slipcase, so I'm looking forward to finally getting around to to checking out this movie. And this is actually another one of the 72 original video nasties here in the UK, so that ticks another one of those off the list as well. So yeah, really nice release from Code Red, and really glad to finally get that movie for the collection. Okay, next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Cutting Class, which was a really fun 80s slasher movie set in a high school. There's a killer going around killing people off. Brad Pitt's in this. I think this might be his first film, and he's really good in it. You can really see why he became a star. And the acting in general is pretty good in this film. And Roddy McDowall is in this as well, and he's hugely entertaining. I'm sure he channels some of his Peter Vincent character in this. He's a very, very similar kind of character, and yeah, he really made me laugh. So if you're into 80s slasher films, definitely check out Cutting Class. It's a really good example of that genre. Next up from Arrow, we have the Daybreak Trilogy, which is a really nice box set from Arrow. I think this is limited edition, and I think these are sort of like, it's about these giant stone god monsters that come to life, so bits of like kaiju style. And this they've kind of gone with the Vinegar Syndrome style, where the box, the top comes off and then you get the movies inside. I won't get them out because I tried this earlier and it took me forever, but you get the 3 Blu-rays and then you get quite a thick booklet as well. So yeah, nice set there from Arrow, and like I say, it is limited edition. I actually know nothing about these films. If Arrow hadn't to put this out, I probably still wouldn't know anything about it. So I need to go through this and discover these and see what they like. But yeah, look pretty interesting. So yeah, I'll dip into this at some point soon. Okay, next up from Blue Underground is a rare upgrade for me, but I couldn't resist picking this up. It's a beautiful release, and this is the 4K edition of Dead and Buried. I've talked about Dead and Buried before on my channel. Dead and Buried is a wonderful film, billed here in the UK as a video nasty, but way more to it than that. It's such a good film, very nicely made, very kind of glossy production to it. Does deliver in the violence. I did watch a bit of it when I got this in, and yeah, it does have some pretty intense scenes, but such a good film. It's reflecting there quite badly, but yeah, really nice release from Blue Underground. And it came with it's got these holographic covers. It came with 3 different ones, and I went for the eye, the needle through the eye cover, which I'm sure is the scene that freaked the BBFC out back in the 80s and got the film banned. And then take the slipcase off, and you've got the OG artwork underneath there. So yeah, really happy to get such a nice release of Dead and Buried. Yeah, really nice stuff there. Okay, next up is another compilation, actually, another sort of multi-pack. I don't buy many of these, but I've got 2 this month. And this is The Deadly Beyond. So on this one, you've got Pulse, Space Hunter, Krull, The Hearse, Lurkers, Slipstream, Mutant, Warriors of the Wasteland, Alien Contamination, which I just know as Contamination, and Eternal Evil. And then the one that I bought it for was My Mum's a Werewolf. Which again is another film that I've always wanted to see. Don't see it around all that much. Sort of just like a low budget werewolf film with John Saxon. So I'll give that one a watch soon, and probably a couple of the others on there. So yeah, I just thought that was another interesting compilation DVD. Okay, next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Hobgoblins. So I have seen this a couple of times over the years. Hobgoblins is not a particularly good film. It's a very bad kind of cash-in on Gremlins, but yeah, really bad film. Not particularly funny, not scary, very silly, very obvious, like rubber puppet hobgoblin creatures. Yeah, just pretty bad overall. This is another one that Mystery Science Theatre did an episode on, so kind of gives you an idea of the quality there. And again, I recommend watching the Mystery Science Theatre version over the actual film, because it's not great, but it's one that I wanted to get for the collection. Like I say, I've seen it a couple of times, so it's nice to just have it on the shelf. So yeah, Hobgoblins. Next up from Scream Factory, we have Pet Sematary 2, which I've never seen before. All through the years, I've never got around to seeing the second Pet Sematary, so I thought I'd pick this one up. And I thought this was okay. It's nothing special, it's not great, but I did enjoy it for what it was. I found it quite entertaining. I think if you have a fondness for 90s nostalgia, that'll help you get through this one, because it was pretty good in that respect. And quite funny in places as well. I don't know how intentionally funny it was supposed to be, but I did actually find myself laughing in quite a few places. Particularly Clancy Brown's character in this was pretty hilarious. So tonally a bit all over the place, very different from the first film. At times it's very dark and very scary, and then at times it just becomes a bit laughable. So interesting mix there. And like I say, I'm not sure how intentionally funny and all over the place it was supposed to be, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So that's that one. Next up, from Vinegar Syndrome, we have the 4K set of Scanner Cop. Great artwork there. And so yeah, so Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2. This is a really nice set. And what's nice about this is you get the outer box, and then the movies inside also have the nice Vinegar Syndrome slipcase treatment, and then you come with the 4K case inside. So really nice set. I've never seen these films before, and I have to say I really enjoyed both of them. These are, I think they're loosely linked to the original Scanners series, and yeah, they just follow this this Scanner Cop. He's got the scanner ability, and he's just trying to go after these bad guys that also have scanner abilities. But yeah, really cool 90s movies, and they're a good mix of kind of like cop thriller and body horror, and they have some really cool prosthetic effects in it, sort of like pulsating heads. There's a couple of exploding heads as well. You can't have a Scanners film without an exploding head. Particularly the second one as well. There's some really good practical effects in that movie. So yeah, but kind of cheesy, kind of silly, very 90s, but a couple of very entertaining films. So happy to get this 4K set. Really nice release there from Vinegar Syndrome. Next up from Arrow, I picked up the Sergio Martino collection. So I do like Sergio Martino's films. I really like Torso and Mountain of the Cannibal God. Alligator was okay as well. So this is sort of 3 of his Jallos. It comes with the Case of the Scorpion's Tail, Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key, and The Suspicious Death of a Miner. And they're just like slimline Blu-rays in this box set. And I thought I'd pick this up because I've not seen any of these 3 films, so good chance to get them all in one box set. But just be aware, this is a very flimsy box set from Arrow. It's not the usual thick, sturdy box set packaging, so just be careful when handling this. The box itself is like paper, so I'm going to put it down now before I damage it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see those films. Right, next up from 88 Films, we have this limited edition set of So Sweet, So Perverse, Jello film from 1969, I think. And this was really good. I enjoyed this. I'm not massively into Jellos, but I did enjoy this one. And it's a bit of a retelling of Diabolique, that kind of thing. Pretty intriguing stuff. Pretty good performances from the people in it, especially this lead guy. I forget his name now. And I watched this one right at the beginning of the month, so it's not that clear in my memory, but I do remember being quite surprised how much I enjoyed this for a Jello. And really nice set, sort of thick set from 88 Films. Another nice release there. Okay, next up, picked up Spiral, the new Saw related film. Not had a chance to watch this yet, but it looks pretty interesting. I remember seeing the trailer for this and I was pretty intrigued to see what Chris Rock is like in this. I mean, I mainly know him from comedy and stand-up comedy, and I always like when actors kind of break tradition. So yeah, really interesting to see what his performance was like in this. And yeah, so I'll give that one a watch soon. And then next up, I picked up Split, which I have watched this and I did enjoy it. I was really impressed with James McAvoy's acting. In this, he plays like a schizophrenic that has, I think, like 23 different personalities, and his performance is really, really remarkable. And he abducts these teenage girls, and but all the while he's kind of changing depending on which of his personality comes to the forefront, and he's always having these internal battles with these personalities. Very interesting film, and like I say, worth watching for James McAvoy's performance alone. So that's Split. Next up from Arrow, I picked up one of their new releases, The Stylist. I've not had a chance to watch this yet, and I'm on the fence. Quite a few of Arrow's releases over the last couple of months have not been very good. And I can't say this one grabs me all that much, but I'm willing to give it a chance, and I thought I'd pick it up while it comes with the slipcover and things like that. So I'll check this out at some point. But let me know if you've seen this one and what you thought it was like. Okay, next up from Vinegar Syndrome, we have Surf 2. There is no Surf 1. So this is like a bit of a comedy, I think it's like a bit of like an Animal House rip-off, where they do all this surfing and they try and brainwash these surfers into becoming zombies and things like that. I get a bit of a Surf Nazis Must Die vibe from this as well, so we'll have to see. The film looks a lot of fun, but I've heard that it's absolutely awful, which I hope is not true. I hope I do enjoy it, but I've heard a couple of YouTubers even say it's the worst release I've ever seen from Vinegar Syndrome, which is saying something. So we'll see. I'll be watching this one soon, and I'm hoping that it's at least a little bit of fun, because it certainly sounds like it, but we'll have to see. That's Surf 2. Okay, next up from Scream Factory, we have Tales from the Hood, which is another one I've wanted to see for a long time. I've kind of been putting it off because the Scream Factory Blu-ray is not the cheapest, but did manage to find a copy. And I have to say this film was excellent. It was absolutely brilliant. One of the best anthologies I've ever seen. So glad to finally get it. And it's a really, really wonderful mix of kind of like urban, modern kind of black community characters mixed with the old-fashioned like Amicus storytelling, and they do it so well. And essentially it's kind of it's a horror film, but it's a lot of fun, but they also incorporate some really good kind of real issues into the film. So things like race, politics, domestic issues, things like that, and they do it really well and kind of not in your face, just all mixed together in a really, really competent fashion. But yeah, I absolutely love this film, and there's 4 segments in it and all of them are solid, really, really good. I actually want to watch it again today, which is very rare because I watched it last night and I'm hankering to see it again, but I have that many films, I don't usually watch them twice in a row. But yeah, this was so good. Maybe the best thing I picked up this month, I'm not sure. But yeah, Tales from the Hood was excellent. Glad to finally check that out. Okay, next up from Vinegar Syndrome, I got the televised Terrors box set. So this is kind of 3 TV movies from back in the day, which have all been released onto Blu-ray for the first time. So this comes with Are You in the House Alone, Calendar Girl Murders, and Child in the Night. And this is another one that the top opens up and you get the three movies. So Child in the Night, Calendar Girl Murders, and Are You in the House Alone. This is the only one I've watched yet from this set, and I actually really enjoyed this film. It surprised me how good this was. This teenage girl, she's babysitting and she starts getting terrorised by an unknown person in a school, and really good stuff. It kind of reminded me of When a Stranger Calls, but controversial opinion, but I probably enjoyed this more than When a Stranger Calls. It was really good, really kind of slow burn, tense movie. And of course it's a TV movie, so it's pretty much violence and blood is non-existent, but I just thought it was really good how they built everything up and kept the mystery and things like that. So yeah, another nice box set there from Vinegar Syndrome. Okay, next up I got some more anime. So I got the Wicked City limited edition box set. So this comes with Wicked City and Demon City Shinjuku. So I know this sold out very quickly online, and I went to HMV earlier in the month, went into Nottingham, and I had a quick look in the anime section, never thinking I would find this, and then right down in the corner they had a copy of this for pretty cheap because it's skyrocketed in price. So yeah, I thought I'd pick this one up. So I have watched both of them. Wicked City I thought was pretty good. That was a pretty impressive anime. Demon City Shinjuku, I didn't like that one as much. That kind of lost me a little bit, lost my interest. But glad to get this set into the collection. It's a really nice set. It comes with 2 individual Blu-rays, and there's a bunch of lobby cards as well, which I've kept sealed. But yeah, that's pretty nice stuff. And then the last one this month, I think the new release from Vestron, we have The Wraith, which is a really cool movie from the 80s with Charlie Sheen, and it's like these gang of youths that are terrorising this town, and they in turn are stalked and killed off by this mysterious, like, supernatural helmeted driver driving this fancy sports car. But yeah, really cool kind of rock and roll themed 80s like supernatural car movie. Really enjoyed The Wraith. Highly recommend that, especially if you're into your 80s stuff. So that's everything that I got this month, guys. As always, feel free to let me know what you think of any of these movies. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.